Okay.
Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I am Ray.
And I'm Evie.
Today we're looking at The Old Guard. It's the old. Yeah, it is The Old Guard. It is a
Old Guard,
Netflix
yeah.
exclusive starring Charlize Theron. It
hmm
is a rated R. It is a runtime of an hour and 25 minutes. It's considered an action, sci-fi, mystery,
hmm
fantasy. It is in the vein of not Groundhog's Day, but it is a sci-fi movie about living forever. Would
hmm
that be a fair assumption?
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely.
So, what were your impressions of this film?
Um, what were my impressions?
Or just just open floor, go for it.
Okay. Good movie. Whole bunch going on, like a lot going on. It was good. I don't know if I'd see it again.
I feel like a budget movie, like it was a lot of you know how you have a big summer blockbuster movie. Did
Yeah,
you feel like there was a lot of money put into this, or was it like?
I did actually.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, a lot going on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot going on. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I don't think I'd want to see it again, though. How about you?
I was interested because I was reading the comic books. It's from Image Comic Books, and
Okay.
there was graphic novels that's been adapted now. You can read it. Um, I know Gina Prince Davis was the director for it. She was going to do Silver and Black, which was it was up in the air. She was supposed to do a Silver Sable Black Cat movie
Okay.
for the longest time. It was put on the shelf. It was on hold for so long, and then she ended up
Mm,
doing this movie as her first like superhero film adaptation or comic book adaptation, which I think
Okay.
is probably a good thing.
hmm
It's one of the most well received movies on Netflix and also a superhero genre film. And of course, Charlize Theron, her last superhero film was Aaron Flux. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the drawing of that cartoon, there's no way I could sit down and read that comic book because the drawing is just, it's sort of like, not arcane,
Yeah.
but it's just sort of like weird.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hellboy. It's kind of like the actual
hmm
comic book drawing is not my cup of tea. But the
Right.
movie is, I won't say it's, well, Aaron Flux was an interesting take. And of course, there were stories of her injury. But
Mm.
but in this movie, I thought this film was it really captures the idea of horror in the concept of if you live forever but
Mm.
are captured, what
Right.
is the type of like realization, because you're immortal but you're not superpowered, so like you can
Yeah.
be kept in a box, you can be controlled, you can and if so you just experiencing misery after misery after misery, day after day.
Mm.
And there's different types of horror in that. There was one with the iron chamber. There was one on the surgical table. There were,
Mm.
and then of course, if you lose that power out of nowhere, uh, you know, the, appreciating life more as a gift.
Mm.
Um, so there were a lot of good themes in this, and it's just on a cerebral level. I thought there was a lot of really good topics. I mean, and even though they don't show you, well, they kind of give you glimpses of like the level of darkness this can go into, and then
Mm.
there's a moral thread that kind of brings it together. These heroes together, the good they do. And I'll thread the one needle in this is like the character of Nile. Um, if you saw the movie, well, in this case, you did see the movie Palm Springs. The Andy
Mm.
Samberg's character is Niles,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right, and her name is Nile. In mythology, it's the River Nile, of course, and
Mm.
there is a personification. Some myths that the Nile is known as the god called Happy,
Mm.
who is Isis and Osiris's grandson. If you watch the movie Big Boss Level, there's the
Yeah.
story of
Yeah.
in the needle of Osiris.
Mm.
So this is the thread that joins all of these stories together, even though it's a story that it's a genre of the Groundhog's Day subgenre, but it's about immortality, looping again, living forever, even though it's in a small pocket universe, or living forever being an immortal. These are things that kind of like link them up all together. And the word
Mm.
Nile or Niles are just one of the things that kind of link these up together, which is sort of interesting.
Mm.
It's completely arbitrary is the fact that I think it's coincidental, but it's just nice to see how there are certain maybe unintentional links or purposeful links of why they chose certain names. Um, and the idea, well, the premise of this movie is, it's in the trailer, that they find, okay, these are a group of people, literally a handful of people who are immortal, and someone just becomes immortal because the only way I guess you know you're immortal is if you are killed tragically in some battle or incident
Mhm.
after experiencing death.
Mhm.
It's how you become immortal, which is a way I wouldn't want to test myself or you or
Mhm.
anyone else I know, because if I'm
Mhm.
wrong, there you go.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's an interesting concept of how they go about it, and it's interesting too. Like all these deaths, I mean, they've experienced all the pain that goes with it, so they don't
Mhm.
forget that. And because you live forever, you remember all the pain, you remember all the
Mhm.
suffering, you remember all of
Yeah.
that. So
Mhm.
there's a thread of responsibility and collateral damage and just understanding of history.
Mhm.
And the curse, I guess, the curse of living forever is
Mhm.
memory,
Yeah.
so that's one of the strong themes of this. And it's like, is it worth living forever?
Mhm.
It's I guess it's, at least you get to live, but everyone around you dies. So
Mhm.
that was kind of one of the themes of that. And then of course, when you're trapped in the
Mhm.
sarcophagus sequence,
Yeah.
that's very harsh. That's a very trippy
Mhm.
concept. What were your interpretations of that part?
What, with the coffin, you mean?
Yeah.
I do not like being shut in something.
Mhm,
So that part, I didn't like,
mhm.
closed up in something. Yeah. And and all of that kind of, yeah, that was basically like the what do you call it? Yeah. There's a theme there, Egypt and stuff, which I thought, that stuff I don't mind, but yeah, being trapped in a coffin, not
Mhm.
for me. Not for me. The movie, it wasn't bad. Yeah, so it was okay. I don't think I would watch it again.
And what you do at that time, and what Andy, that's the Charlize Theron character, or Theron, that's how you pronounce it, Theron,
Mhm.
um, how her character lives with it, because she's the oldest, and how
Mhm.
she has learned to adapt, living centuries by herself, and then
Mhm.
slowly every 300-400 years finding a new,
Mhm. Mhm.
if lucky. It's I've heard such good things about it, so I definitely wanted to see this, and I wanted to savor it watching it. And I'm not going to say I was disappointed in this movie. Like when they come in, the sequence where they come in, and the opening sequence is they go in for a rescue that goes awry. It's in the
Yeah.
trailer, but they got lit up, man. They lit them up harsh, man, in the movie when they came in.
Mhm.
And then of course it's like literally watching The Walking Dead when they come back from the dead,
Mhm.
looking all World War Z,
Mhm.
all like mangled and shot up, coming back from that. That was extraordinary. So I think the CGI, really, the cool CGI and makeup effects is like Wolverine, where the bullets fall out of their bodies and they
Mhm. Mhm.
heal. That's where the money is placed. Is giving it, rather than giving it sensationalism, they give it a realism. So that's when
Mhm.
you watch it, you're not feeling the fun bombastic effects.
Mhm.
It's all grounded in a reality based sci-fi world.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cool.
That's how I look at it, and maybe that's why I didn't think of it as being. I was expecting more, because I was thinking it'd be like, oh, like an action movie,
Mhm.
like Highlander,
Yeah,
but
that was
it's
a good
not.
movie.
It's not Highlander. It's just a very cerebral, like what's that movie? 1812, was it called 1812? Where the war movie, or 19
Yeah,
is it
something like
1912?
that.
No, 1912. Sorry, 1912. Sorry,
Oh,
1812. That's the war, Canada and the U.S. So World War Two. Was it 1917? Right? 1917.
yeah,
1970.
1917.
Yes, because it's World War. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's more like that than it is where the special effects is more real base. It feels
Mhm.
more real base than sensationalized. So that
Right.
was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's all I'm going to say for that. Any last
mm,
words?
no, not really, but
Yeah.
it was fun.
Mhm.
Great movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So on that note, we'll be back next week with a brand new movie. Actually, it's going to be, we'll tell you what it is. It's going to be Infinite with Mark Wahlberg. It's another movie that deals with immortality, more like resurrection or, resurrection.
Okay.
Not resurrection.
Infant?
No, not resurrection. It is, what do you call the Dalai Lama? What do you call him when he dies? He comes back. The Dalai Lama is what? You're immortal by reincarnation. That's what the Dalai Lama is.
Okay.
So
what is it? 7 days or 7 something?
What?
I don't know.
Oh, for reincarnation?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, how it actually works?
No, isn't it? What is the title of it?
Well, Infinity.
Infinity?
Yeah, Infinity.
Okay.
Stars Mark Wahlberg. It's an action film, but it deals with resurrection. No, what's the word again? I just forgot the word. It's not resurrection. Not resurrection. Reincarnation.
Reincarnation. Okay. Oh, okay.
You're helping me out here. I'm drowning.
No problem. No problem. It's all good.
And you're describing the water. So it's reincarnation. That's our next film we'll be reviewing next week. I look forward to discussing that with you and everyone else on the show. And of course, check out my weekly blog that will be covering this in a little more detail, especially Infinite, when we get to watch that. Evie will be watching that very soon. I got to send him the screener for that one. But until then, we'll see you next week.
Take care. Take care.